Hello Cancerians, it's Luke Voulgarakis from LV Life and welcome to your quick tarot for the month of January 2025. Happy New Year! Alright, let's see what we've got. Alright, first card out, the Lovers reversed. Second card out, the Devil reversed. Uh-oh. No, it's all good. Third card out, the Five of Wands. Wow, that's interesting. Look, firstly, let's talk about the similarity between these two cards, right? I mean, look at that. They are very similar indeed. And what is that about? Well, I'll tell you. These both came out reversed, so let's deal with that situation first. I feel like there's internal shift happening. When we look at both of these cards, firstly, they represent nudity. And nudity is about vulnerability, exposure, really leaning into authenticity is another thing. I mean, authenticity and vulnerability often go hand in hand, don't they? But that nudity is that, and perhaps even with another entity or another person, because of course we see two people in each of these. But more than that, maybe even with yourself, maybe leaning into vulnerability with yourself, perhaps is not something you do easily. Perhaps it's not something you're comfortable with, but how could you get more comfortable with that? And then we're going to talk about these characters that reign above them here. So the devil, and then above the lovers here, we've got this angel. The devil, firstly, represents fear, represents something that's fear that's keeping you in old habits, in old mindsets, in old ways that don't serve you anymore. Because if you look really closely, they've got chains tied around their neck and they're chained to the door. The chains around their necks aren't even that tight. They could probably just slip them off over their heads. And the door they're attached to has the devil perching above it, but they could just open that door and leave. So it's the thought of the devil that's keeping them there. It's the fear that's keeping them there, stopping them being vulnerable, stopping them being their true selves. And then over here on the Lovers card, the divine angel character here coming out of the clouds, for me represents that this is divinely orchestrated, that this has been perhaps part of your timeline since before you even came here. But in the reverse position, I'm wondering if there is, rather, it's not necessarily about physicalities of people, but like, is there a separation from your old self to your new self? Are you starting to change old mindsets, old ways, old behaviors, old beliefs, old versions of you? Can you step out of that? That's the vulnerability level that we're looking for here. Can you step out of what you always have been and always known and step into something better? Can you become your own lover in a sense of learning to love yourself, learning to be comfortable with yourself, learning to connect with yourself, to be with yourself, to understand all aspects and sides of yourself? So I really feel like this is big energy. And then we've got the Five of Wands. And this is very much about then staying out of the drama. Maybe a big part of this is stepping out of drama. Maybe you're prone to being involved in gossip or drama, or even things like, the news or TV or magazines or newspapers or Facebook or whatever. Like, it's so easy to get sucked into that stuff, but does it serve you? Maybe a real big part of this process is, creating an absence of that stuff, moving away from those things that are dramatic, things that feed your subconscious energy, feed into that devil energy. They can become addictions. We all know that social media is an addiction. But even like watching the news or reading a newspaper or falling asleep with the TV on, and like there's some true crime documentary or something, all of that stuff's feeding into your subconscious. And it's just creating more drama inside you, and it is then manifests as that stuff. So I feel like there's a real aspect of really deeply looking at yourself and the way that you nurture your mind and your energy and your emotions and your spirit and your soul, like all of that stuff, looking at that level. And that's where the vulnerability is. That's what the scary stuff is, right? But that's where the love is, the self-love, the growth, the development, like all of that sits there too. So you're looking at yourself on a much deeper level this month. I hope that resonates for you. Please let me know in the comments, and you can like, follow, subscribe, and share whatever platform you're on, because those things really help me to reach more people. And I really appreciate it. It's free for you to do. Or you can give me a little donation at Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal, or you can have a private reading with me because it's January and we can do a 12-month ahead reading, and that is awesome for this time of year. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful month ahead. Bye bye.